the more I get involved in politics, the sadder I feel.
Absolutely.
And the reason is because everybody I deal with is a Christian.
Yeah.
I don't spend any time with Democrats. I mean, you should see the prayers that we have and then the way they vote. It's like, because really it's about the best we can do. What's our best chances? What's our bigger fears? It's not about doing what's right.
That's being content.
It's a fear of losing control. That's what it is.
Well,
when you have somebody like Jared Patterson up there, I mean, you got to feel good about getting patted on the back and saying, "Hey, well, you didn't give up the whole farm, just half of it," and then you walk away feeling like, "Man, I feel like I just won the lottery." Yeah.
My favorite Jared Patterson story was he was in this meeting and Janie, our head chair lady, she goes, "All right, let's keep the jeering and booing down to a minimum tonight." And I'm like, I was new. I was like, "You can boo?"
Oh
yeah. And awesome. So
now you got to keep it to a minimum.
Yeah, just keep it to a minimum. So
it's crazy stuff. Yeah, the more and more you dive into this stuff, the more and more depressing it gets. It's almost like there's no hope. Thank God for people like you, Todd, that are willing to, put yourself out there in front of everybody and be courageous to do that and expose some of this stuff that people don't normally would know in the side of politics.
Yeah, I think the governor's race is the most important race that we have right now, and there's a bunch of really good men that are running. And I know the Bible says none of us are good, so I probably misspoke, but I really like a lot of the candidates that are running. I really do, and I think they'll do a much, much better job than Abbott. I think Abbott will probably run for president, in a fairly short period of time. And I think he's trying to move to the middle.
It's nauseating.
Yeah. And he's trying to, appease as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Right. And I heard that he used to be a grassroots, conservative guy. Right. But
that's what happens when you sell your soul.
I think he got put on the spot. I think that he probably would have let it go a lot worse if DeSantis wasn't beating him to the punch on a lot of things. And DeSantis kept on having the heroic speeches and saying all the right things. And Abbott was losing a lot of the limelight. So he had to come out and, we're sitting here, we're still dealing with this stuff. He was just
be a trendsetter. I mean,
yeah, he was a little bit late to the party.
Absolutely. He's a reactionist is what Abbott is. And, and the sad part about it is you have to get somebody in that position that's going to have the kahunas again to be able to make that change. I mean, so you have two options here. You get somebody that gets in there and then they get bought and paid for and they sell their soul out just like Abbott, right? Or you actually get somebody in there that says, hey, I'm in there. I bluffed all these people enough as far as the donors and all that, they're thinking that you're part of the establishment. And I bluffed enough people to get in there that now we're going to make some change. And let's clean house and see how you may serve a term. You may be maybe the first governor to get assassinated or something like that, but at least you're going to go in there and make a difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and honor God.
You're going to upset some people.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we're going to assassinate anybody, TDC. I'm saying that you would go in there and make enough change to where people would now we got to get this guy out of office one way or another, right?
But that does put it in perspective how powerful this systematic. Well, we talk about it all the time. Everybody talks about systemic racism and systemic this, that. I think the most systemic thing is our government. I think it's you talk about the biggest divide and conquer in the world. It's a two-party system where they're both actually one party just playing volleyball
behind the scenes, all one party.
Well, some of the greatest words ever said is, when the government fears the people, there's liberty. And when the people fear the government, there's tyranny. The people fear the government now, right? The government, you go down to Washington, D.C., and you don't sin and you don't break the law and you peacefully protest and you're still sitting in jail.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, you have to be careful.
I mean, the witch hunt of going after people and their taxes because you're conservative, and trying to find some way to be able to quieten those people or to squelch their voice and keep them off the streets. I mean, that's a witch hunt. By all means, it should be illegal, and whoever even headhunts on that should be held accountable to the fullest extent.